members. Well, we heard from Senator Klein that the idea, Mr. President, is to, at least for Senate Democrats, to not vote for this amendment and put it on this tax correction bill. This is a tax correction, but instead to offer it as its own bill later. So the reality is, members, this is the only tax correction bill going through on its way to the governor. This is the only vehicle that this legislature is going to see for tax corrections. This is the place to have this item in. And as a matter of fact, it would be even more deceptive as a legislature for us to believe that if we are going to bring it and just offer another bill with this item all by itself, and we know, Mr. President, that bill is not going to make it to the governor. It's not going to the governor. As a matter of fact, we had the tax chair in the House and the Senate agree. They wrote a letter to the agency, the governor's agency, and told them about this, the need for this correction. And now we're in a situation which I don't completely understand, Mr. President. As Senator Weber very clearly articulated, we have in this government a legislative branch and we have an executive branch. They have two different functions. One does not cede its authority to the other. But, Mr. President, that's what we seem to be having happen here. I can assure you that Republicans on this vote, Mr. President, are not going to cede their authority to the governor because he seems to want to increase taxes on Minnesota businesses that are struggling. Because that's what this will do if we don't correct this. Republicans don't want to do that. We want to vote to include this in the bill, send it to the governor and say, Governor, fix all of the tax problems that our tax committees identified last year. And if we include this in there, it will fix all of them. But this one is being set aside because the governor of this state doesn't want it in the bill. He wants to raise taxes on Minnesota businesses. That's why we're not sending it to him. That's why Democrats are going to vote against this bill. Every single Democrat will vote against this bill. I can assure you, Mr. President, that's what's going to happen. We have Democrats that are walking in lockstep with the governor. The governor is taking over the legislative process here in the state of Minnesota, and legislative Democrats are following him, even though they disagree with him. They don't have the courage to be the legislature that they want to be. Mr. President, this is legislative cowardice for us to not include this provision in the bill. Instead, we're going to have this fake fluffy stuff over here say, oh, we're going to offer another bill over here that we know is not going to go anywhere. We need to be honest with the people of Minnesota right here, right now. Senate Democrats, join Republicans. Vote for this amendment, get some cojones and be the legislature, because it is not the governor's legislature.
Point of order.
It is the people of Minnesota's legislature. Thank you, Mr. President.